Jabari Adeyemi walked quickly down the crowded streets of Lagos. Sweat formed on his forehead, dripping slowly down his face. The hot sun beat down on him, making his expensive suit feel heavy. He checked his watch again, frustration growing inside him. Jabari hated being late. Of all days, his driver had gotten stuck in Lagos traffic. Now, one of Nigeria's richest men was walking through a crowded street like nobody. People stared. He didn't care. Every second mattered. This wasn't just any meeting. Powerful foreign investors were waiting at a luxury hotel nearby. If he closed this deal, his father's empire would go global. Failure was not an option. The future of his company and thousands of jobs depended on him. Suddenly, without warning, a young woman rushed out from a small roadside cafe, holding a hot cup of coffee. She was moving so fast, she didn't see Jabari. Before he could step aside, she crashed into him. The coffee spilled all over his expensive suit, burning his chest and staining his clothes. Jabari froze, shock and anger filling his face. "What have you done?" He shouted loudly, attracting attention from passers-by. "Are you blind? Do you have any idea what you've just done?" The girl, Zuri Okafor, stood trembling before him. She looked exhausted, dark circles beneath her beautiful eyes. Her uniform marked her as a hotel cleaner, worn and faded from constant use. Her hands shook, her voice breaking as she spoke. "I'm so sorry, sir," she said, her voice shaking. "Please forgive me. I didn't see you. Please, sir, I was rushing to work." Jabari's face twisted in anger. People around them had stopped, whispering and staring. "Your apologies mean nothing," he snapped harshly. "Do you know how important today is for me? You've ruined everything." Zuri's eyes filled with tears. She begged forgiveness again, her voice becoming weaker. "I promise I didn't mean— Just move out of my way!" Jabari shouted, humiliating her in front of the watching crowd. He pushed past her, storming off without looking back. As he walked away, Jabari's mind burned with anger. He despised mistakes. From childhood, Jabari had always been perfect, first in school, later in business. He was cold, powerful, and always disciplined. He never forgave errors, especially careless ones. His employees knew this and feared disappointing him. Jabari expected perfection, nothing less. Back on the street, Zuri stood quietly, tears streaming silently down her face. She wiped them away quickly, pulling herself together. She was used to struggle and humiliation. Zuri was poor, working tirelessly day and night at the hotel. Today she was working a double shift. Her younger sister was sick, needing expensive medicine she could barely afford. Zuri's only goal was to earn enough money to help her sister. She was exhausted, barely sleeping, yet she kept going. Life had always been hard, but Zuri never stopped trying. Zuri wiped her tears. She didn't know Jabari was a billionaire, just thought he was some angry man. She fixed her uniform and ran to the hotel, scared she'd lose her job. She had no idea this accident would change everything. Jabari stood in front of the hotel restroom mirror, staring at his stained shirt. His meeting went badly. The investors looked at him with doubt. He clenched his fists, blaming Zuri for the mess. How could one careless act by a hotel cleaner ruin months of preparation? He shook his head, feeling exhausted and frustrated. Jabari had always been able to control every aspect of his life, but today, control had slipped away because of her. Late that night, Jabari finally returned to his presidential suite. He entered, quietly, feeling completely drained. As he turned on the lights, his eyes widened in shock. There, in the middle of his large, comfortable bed, was a woman, fast asleep. She was dressed in the familiar uniform of a hotel cleaner, clutching cleaning supplies tightly in her hand. Jabari moved closer, anger quickly replacing his initial shock. "Hey!" he shouted, shaking her awake. "What are you doing in my room?" Zuri's eyes flew open, startled and terrified. Realizing where she was, she quickly jumped up, panic flooding her face. "Oh God, I'm so sorry. Sir, I fainted. Please forgive me," she stammered, trembling with fear. "Fainted?" Jabari's voice rose sharply. "Do you think I'm a fool? First you ruin my morning, now you invade my privacy. No, sir, please believe me," Zuri pleaded, tears filling her eyes again. "I was so tired. I didn't realize I fell asleep. I was just cleaning the room and I don't remember anything else." Jabari stared at her coldly, unsympathetic. Without hesitation, he grabbed the phone and called hotel security. Within moments, security arrived, followed by the hotel manager. Zuri stood helplessly, head bowed in shame, as Jabari angrily explained what happened. "Sir, I promise you this was not intentional," the hotel manager said quietly, pulling Jabari aside. "This girl is Zuri. She's one of our hardest workers. She works double shifts almost daily. She's caring for her younger sister who's very sick. I swear to you, sir, she would never intentionally cause trouble." Jabari paused, his anger slowly fading into irritation. He glanced back at Zuri, noticing for the first time the deep exhaustion in her beautiful eyes. Despite her fear, there was a simplicity and humility about her that touched something deep inside him. "Let her go," Jabari finally said, his voice calm but still irritated. "But I don't want her near my room again." Security escorted Zuri out, and Jabari sank onto the bed, rubbing his temples. He couldn't explain why her face lingered in his mind, or why her quiet apologies affected him so deeply. He was irritated at himself now, confused by his reaction. Jabari had met many beautiful women, sophisticated and wealthy. Yet something about Zuri's honest simplicity made him uneasy in a way he didn't understand. Unable to sleep, Jabari paced the luxurious suite. He knew he could easily return to his mansion tomorrow, far away from this embarrassing incident. Yet, to his own surprise, he decided to stay at the hotel for a few more days. He justified this decision by telling himself it was purely about business, an attempt to salvage his ruined deal with the investors. But deep down, he knew it wasn't entirely true. Jabari Adeyemi sat alone by the window of his presidential suite. The lights of Lagos blinked in the distance, but his eyes didn't move. His bags were packed. His driver was waiting. And yet, he didn't move. He picked up the hotel phone. "Extend my stay," he said. "For how long, sir?" the receptionist asked. Jabari hesitated. "Indefinitely." It started the next morning. He ordered breakfast, but this time he added something odd to the request. "I want the cleaner named Zuri to bring it." The staff paused. "Sir?" "You heard me." Click. Zuri Okafor's heart dropped when her supervisor called her name. "Room 1201. Mr. Adeyemi is asking for you again." "Why?" Zuri asked softly. The woman shrugged. "Just go, and be careful." Zuri nodded, adjusting the loose sleeves of her uniform. She thought it was over after the coffee accident. She had already been humiliated. Now he was calling her again. She didn't understand. When she knocked on the door, it opened almost instantly. Jabari stood in a crisp designer suit, no tie. His face was unreadable. She pushed the cart in, eyes on the floor. "You're early," he said. "I didn't want to be late again," she replied, her voice quiet. He didn't respond, just watched her place the tray gently on the table. Before she left, he said, "Your hands shake when you're nervous." Zuri froze. "I'm sorry, sir." He didn't say anything after that, Just close the door. Later, when she opened the tip envelope, she gasped. And 15,000, more than what she made in 2 days. Why would he give her that? The next day, it happened again. Lunch, dinner, the same request. Zuri only. Zuri started to panic. Was this a trap? Was he mocking her? Her body was tired, her mind even more. She needed the money, but her pride was starting to feel heavy. In the staff kitchen, whispers started. Is he watching her? She spilled coffee on him last week. Now he's tipping her more than managers earn. Maybe he's trying to get her fired. Zuri heard every word. She kept her face still, but her heart beat faster. On the 4th day, when she arrived, Jabari invited her to sit. I don't sit in guest rooms, she replied politely. I'm not a guest, he said. I'm a man with a question. She blinked. Do you always work this hard? She hesitated. I don't have a choice. Silence stretched. Is it your family? My sister, she whispered. She's sick. We don't have anyone else. He said nothing, but his face changed, just for a second. Then she stood. Thank you for your kindness. I should go. He nodded. Take care, Zuri. That night, she returned to the laundry room to grab her cart, but something was tucked beneath her folded cloth. An envelope, no logo, just her name, handwritten. Her heart skipped. She opened it slowly. Meet me after your shift. Garden entrance. Don't worry, you're not in trouble. J.A. Zuri stared at the paper. What did he want now? Zuri stared at the note all night. She didn't reply. She didn't throw it away either. When her shift ended, her feet carried her slowly toward the back garden entrance, heart pounding the whole way. She told herself she was just going to pass by, just to see if he was really there. Jabari stood near a tall palm tree, checking his watch. When he saw her, his shoulders relaxed. I thought you wouldn't come, he said quietly. Zuri kept her distance. I wasn't sure if I should. He nodded. That's fair. Silence. Then he stepped forward. Zuri, I'd like to drop you home tomorrow. Her eyes widened. Sir? I want to understand where you come from. No pressure. I just want to see your world. Zuri shook her head. I don't think that's a good idea. I won't come in. I just want to drop you. That's all. She looked at his eyes, usually sharp and commanding. Tonight they looked gentle. She paused, then whispered, Only if we don't tell anyone. He nodded once. Done. The next day, Jabari stood beside a black SUV in the staff parking area. Zuri stepped out shyly, wearing the same faded sandals she always wore after shifts. No guards? She asked. Not today. The car moved slowly through the heart of Lagos, leaving behind the bright hotel lights. They reached her street, narrow, dusty, loud with generators and crying children. Zuri looked embarrassed. I can go the rest of the way. I'll walk with you, he said. She hesitated, then nodded. He followed her past broken gates and old walls. They reached a small one-room house. Clotheslines crossed the yard. A little girl coughed from inside. Zuri opened the door. That's my sister, Lami. The child looked up weakly. Her eyes lit up when she saw Zuri. Did you bring bread? Zuri smiled softly. I'll get some tomorrow, okay? Jabari watched quietly. He said nothing. But when he returned to the hotel that night, something inside him cracked. He had seen the world through her eyes now. He couldn't unsee it. The next day, Zuri came to work and found a pharmacy bag tucked in her locker. Inside were antibiotics and vitamins, with no name attached. She froze. and then smiled. Just a little. Every few days, more small things appeared. A grocery bag, a prepaid clinic receipt. But Jabari never said a word, not even when they crossed paths. Just a nod, a look. In the quiet of his suite, Jabari stood at the window again. His company was doing fine. The investors were back on board. His mother had returned to London. And yet, he hadn't gone home. Why? Why was he still here? Why did Zuri's smile haunt his thoughts? Why did he wait for her knock each morning like it was the highlight of his day? He closed his eyes. "I'm in trouble," he muttered. Then, out loud, like a confession, "I think I'm in love with her." It was a quiet Thursday morning. Zuri knocked on the suite door, just like always. But when Jabari opened it, he didn't step aside like usual. He stood there looking directly at her. His voice was low. "Can you stay for a few minutes?" Zuri hesitated. "I'm still on shift. I'll talk to your supervisor." She nodded slowly. "Okay." He didn't sit. He paced. Zuri stood silently, hands folded in front of her. Finally, Jabari turned to her. "I've been thinking about this for days," he said. "I don't play games, Zuri." She blinked. He stepped closer. "I like you." She gasped softly. "You like me?" Jabari nodded. "Not as a cleaner, as a woman, as a person." Zuri's breath caught in her throat. No one had ever said that to her. Not with honesty, not with eyes like his. Still, her voice was cautious. "You're a billionaire. And you're the only person I look forward to seeing." Zuri's heart fluttered, but her feet stayed firm. "I'm not asking you to marry me," Jabari said gently. "Not yet. I just want to know you. I want to be with you." Zuri lowered her eyes. "I need time." "Take all you want." A pause, then she added, "If we do this, I won't quit my job." He frowned. "Why?" "Because I don't want to depend on you." Jabari nodded slowly. "I respect that." Zuri looked up. No one's ever respected that before. Jabari smiled slightly. "Well, I'm not no one." They began meeting quietly. Late evenings in the back garden, quick conversations in the hallway, no touching, just words, and smiles that said more than hands ever could. Zuri's sister began recovering. Her home had more food now, less fear. She knew Jabari was helping, but he never mentioned it, and she never thanked him out loud. But her eyes did. One day she found a small box under her pillow. Inside was a silver necklace, delicate, simple. Nothing flashy. A note attached. "Because you deserve something that shines too. Jay." She clutched it to her chest and cried. Jabari stayed longer at the hotel. People started noticing, but no one dared question him. Not yet, until the jet landed, and Mrs. Ifeoma Adeyemi stepped back onto Nigerian soil, 3 weeks ahead of schedule. She was elegance, power, and pride in one tall woman. Her heels clicked through the hotel lobby like warning shots. She headed straight to the suite. Jabari opened the door, surprised. "Mother? You didn't think I'd find out?" "Find out what?" She glanced at the food cart behind him, then at the faint scent of jasmine in the room. "I hope you're not losing focus over a maid." Mrs. Ifeoma Adeyemi had built her life on 2 things: power and perfection. From Lagos to London, her name meant class, her presence, respect. She returned home expecting her son to be exactly where she left him, focused, sharp, and emotionally detached. But the moment she stepped into the hotel suite, she noticed something had changed. Jabari smiled more. He dressed softer, ate on time. His tone had warmth. It irritated her. Something, or someone, had disrupted the balance she built into him. She asked directly, "Is there a woman?" He didn't answer. She narrowed her eyes. She began watching closely. One afternoon she saw him pause near the lobby, not for a phone call, not for a business deal, but to smile at a hotel cleaner who passed by quietly with a food tray. That was all she needed. The next morning, Zuri received a note, this time not from Jabari. It was handwritten, formal. "You are cordially invited for tea with Mrs. Adeyemi, Suite 1102, 4 p.m. sharp." Zuri's heart pounded. She didn't tell Jabari. She just ironed her best dress, tied her bun tighter, and prayed to stay calm. At 4 p.m., she knocked gently. Mrs. Adeyemi opened the door herself. She was tall, graceful, wrapped in ivory silk, her face unreadable. "Welcome, Zuri," she said with a smile that didn't touch her eyes. "Please sit." Zuri sat on the edge of the seat, careful not to wrinkle anything. The table was neatly set, tea, cake, fine china. Mrs. Adeyemi poured 2 cups. "So," she began, "you work here long?" Zuri nodded. "Almost 2 years." "And you met my son while cleaning?" "Yes, ma'am. By accident, actually." Mrs. Adeyemi chuckled. "Life is full of accidents, isn't it?" She leaned forward. "You seem sweet, quiet. That's good." Zuri smiled nervously. "I hear you're helping your sister." "Yes. She's getting better, thank God." Mrs. Adeyemi nodded slowly. Then her tone changed, still soft, but sharp underneath. "Zuri, I hope you understand that people like you don't belong in certain places." Zuri froze. "I'm not saying you're not kind. I'm sure you are. But kindness doesn't buy legacy." Zuri gripped her teacup. "I'm not trying to buy anything." Mrs. Adeyemi's eyes hardened. "Then don't mistake kindness from a man like Jabari for a door into a world that isn't yours." Zuri set the cup down, hands shaking slightly. "I never asked for this, ma'am." Mrs. Adeyemi's smile vanished completely now. "You're just a cleaner, Zuri. Stay in your place." Silence fell like a rock between them. Zuri stood up slowly. "I clean floors, yes, but I do it with dignity." She bowed her head slightly. "Thank you for the tea," and walked out without looking back. Outside, she couldn't breathe. She leaned against the hallway wall, tears hot behind her eyes. But none fell. She didn't run. She didn't shout. She just made one decision. The next morning, Jabari waited for Zuri's knock. He had even worn a fresh shirt, she once said. Looked peaceful, but no one came. By 10 a.m., he called the kitchen. "Where's Zuri?" There was silence on the line, then a whisper. "She didn't come in today. Sir, she quit." Jabari froze. "What?" "She handed in her badge late last night. Took her sister with her. She's gone." "Gone?" No goodbye, no message, nothing. He stood in the center of his suite, heart pounding. The silence was louder than the city outside. He rushed downstairs, asked staff, housekeeping, laundry. No one knew where she'd gone, not even her closest co-worker. She just said, "I've had enough." Then she walked away. Jabari left the hotel in his car, searching the streets of Lagos. Nothing. That night, his phone rang. It was his mother. "I hope you've come back to your senses," she said. Jabari didn't answer. She continued. "Some women are seasonal, son. Let this one go." That's when something inside him snapped. "Did you talk to her?" He asked. His mother paused. What did you say to Zuri? I gave her perspective. Jabari clenched his jaw. You humiliated her. She needed reminding. Our world isn't made for cleaners. Then I want no part of your world, Jabari said flatly. His mother's voice sharpened. Jabari, I will never forgive you for this. Click. He hung up. Back in his suite, the air felt heavy. He sat on the bed she once fainted on, the couch she once stood near, the window she once shyly admired. She had left behind no perfume, no picture, just a presence that haunted everything. He opened the drawer, pulled out the silver necklace he had planned to give her next. It still sparkled, but it meant nothing now. Not without her. Days passed. He returned to his mansion, but it didn't feel like home. Rooms felt empty. Laughter felt distant. He threw himself into work. But every boardroom looked dull. Every voice boring. He searched online for her. Nothing. He drove back to her neighborhood. Her house was empty. Just a locked door, and a neighbor who said, she left quietly, took her sister, didn't say where. One evening he stood on his balcony, looking at the stars. He whispered her name. Zuri. The world had never felt this quiet. His assistant brought in papers to sign. Sir, this new contract. Jabari didn't respond. Instead, he asked softly, do you believe some people only come once in a lifetime? The assistant blinked. Sir? Never mind. He stood up and said, I'm going to find her. Zuri vanished without a word. But did she leave by choice? Or did Jabari's proud, ruthless mother erase her like a stain on the family name? Jabari gave up everything to find her. But when love returns, it doesn't always look the same. In part 2, secrets will explode, loyalty will be tested, and Jabari will finally learn the truth about what really happened to Zuri. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the moment everything changes.